This is a Podco original.
She's fascinated by the nature of evil.
Like, I was very nervous to lose my virginity. Yeah. I did a lot of dry humping, though.
She slips up in the first rehearsal and calls him Ezra and not Mr. Fitz.
That's right. Why is this guy who's so much older here? And no one saw anyone push the girl down the stairs. There was like so many people there.
Yeah. Pretty Little Liars was one long episode of Black Mirror. Yeah. That is how I know you. Go on. Near. Wherever you are.
Why are you wearing pants?
I'll be tickling you in my dreams. Hey, I thought we were matching an outfit.
Wait, let me put my shorts by to where they should be.
Why? Why they look so cute?
Really?
Well, you didn't like them? You got self-conscious of the tuck right as we went? She had her shorts rolled and now she just unrolled them.
I untucked it.
Is it because you saw that my shorts were really long jeans?
Yeah. I was like, those are interesting shorts.
Right? I didn't know that we did a shorts thing.
We didn't do a shorts thing.
I didn't know.
Do you like fashion?
No.
You don't like it? I know. As I get older, I care less about it.
I would love to be nude constantly.
Same.
Just like my stupid feet. You know what I mean?
I saw a nude person on Hollywood and Vine yesterday walking around with her tatas and
living
vagina.
her best life.
Yeah, and then she got arrested.
Oh.
You know, it's funny because I thought and I know people talk about this all the time, but I saw about 7 men yesterday without their shirts on. But if a woman was walking down the street without her shirt on, she'd get arrested.
Right.
I'm like.
And it's like, what is it? Is it the fact that there is a sack attached to it? Because everybody has nipples.
Right.
You know?
It's because it's been sexualized by men.
Right.
Because when I breastfed both my babies, I was like, oh, this is to give milk to my kid. Like, I didn't sexualize it at all. But because it's now been so sexualized, we can't get those out.
That's insane.
I don't even think about my boobs ever.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Are you ever not?
Like 5 minutes of being naked, you forget you're naked and literally, listen, I like to be unencumbered. I like my personality to
really shine.
To really be the thing that I don't have to inhibit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I want to get down and I want to squat down and be a little feral child, I want to do that.
And we do that all the time. My question is do you, with a guy, are you okay to take your clothes off really quickly?
Yes, and I think that's the problem.
Because they're like, we just are at coffee.
Yeah, they're like...
we're at Earth Cafe. We're just at Earth Cafe, Lindsay.
Yeah, no, I am a little bit too quick to the jump.
Are you really?
I am, because...
You really like me, and then you just take your clothes off.
Yeah.
One kiss and you're just stripped.
No, I mean, it's not like that, but I just mean like when I do choose to be with somebody, there could be a lot more foreplay. And I'm saying that for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I sort of like,
into it.
And I'm like, why are you fast forwarding all of this? I don't know.
Is it because you feel uncomfortable and awkward? Like you're just like, okay, let's just get to the meat and potatoes because like we know this is why.
I think that I just... So I have a pretty excitable personality.
No.
And
you don't say.
It's better when that energy has stop gaps. You know what I mean? Where it's like...
Now we're having sex.
We're letting in a little bit now. Oh, now it's a little bit of just like lingerie and we're good. Oh, now what we're doing? Oh, it's just cute. It's not like, I'm a whole Lunchable. You know what I mean?
A full Lunchable?
Yeah.
Do you eat Lunchables?
Hell no. But I do eat these salmon stacker Lunchables. Oh my gosh.
Do you really?
It's so
Still?
yummy. Oh, but it's not a Lunchable. It's a grown-up Lunchable. I'm calling it a Lunchable.
It is a Lunchable.
Yeah.
It's like a we used to call them a snack pack.
Yeah.
You still eat snack packs.
Yeah.
Ew. We should work on that. Maybe that's why you feel like you need to take your clothes off to like make sure the people, whoever's in your room, doesn't see that you have a snack pack on the table. They're just like, divert,
wait,
divert.
Look at this.
Yeah. Look at these tatas. They're like, is that a snackable? And you're just like, vagina.
Put this in your mouth. Amazing.
Suck at these titties. And then they're like, okay, she's not so strange.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. This silk shirt was a mistake.
So what's this?
This silk shirt.
I think it's so high in here.
Is literally.
We have been so good. We have not sweated.
Let's calm down.
We have not sweated.
I think it's just sweat.
Sweated.
Is sweated a word?
It is now. Bet, turn,
we sweated?
mid.
No,
they're all words.
Yeah.
They're all words. Give me another, like, you left no crumbs.
8.
8 crumbs? 8 crumbs or just 8?
Look, I'm not eating a crumb if I'm eating, all right? You're giving me the full meat and potatoes. But it gets just worse at the beginning of my period. It sucks because you get yourself all like set up from the month before when you had like the time before your period. Yeah. Then this fucking time comes and it's like,
Can I give you a tip?
Yeah, please.
Take magnesium and you won't have those cravings.
Really?
That's what you're craving. Chocolate is pretty much, magnesium and a few other things. And you're craving a vitamin before you get your period. That's why you want to eat so much of it, like carbs and stuff like that.
That's what it is.
Yeah, if I know this doesn't sound so fun, but instead of, eating like Doritos, if you can just have a piece of like, I do gluten-free buckwheat toast with some avocado. It's got the fat, the carbs, that it'll stop those sugar cravings. And like a magnesium pill, you're good to go.
Oh my God, I would love that. Because I'm getting to the point with my like sugary binges that like, even when I think before them, I can't think of even one thing that I want to eat again. Like, as in like, I don't want another piece of crap, but I'm going to have it because I can't like.
You can't stop yourself from doing it.
There's something in there that's craving something that I'm not getting.
Do you take probiotics?
Yeah.
Because that's like a gut thing too, like something called candida, which is yeast. We all have it, but sometimes it's too much and that craves sugar. So to be fed and to grow, it needs sugar.
Well,
there you go. You and your yeasty.
I am a bread
You
factory.
and your yeasty stomach.
I am the world's #1 manufacturer of yeast.
Okay, so what episode are we on today?
Episode 18.
We made it all the way to 18.
18.
If people don't know, we shot 6 episodes today. So if you want some comments on how you want us to change the show, you're gonna have to
fucking save them.
You have to wait 3 months. You're gonna have to wait 3 months. Okay, the badass seed. Oh yeah, it's all about the school play.
Oh,
Ezra is directing the school play. Hannah is trying out. Jenna walks in and says she wants to create some because she plays that flute.
Was it this in the last episode? Was it in the last episode where Emily walks up and you're cleaning it?
Yeah.
And then while she walks away, you're playing it?
What? So what? And I say something about like, so now you know what it's like to feel left out or something like that.
Now you know what it's like to be second choice.
Yeah. And then I'm like, ooh, they gave me flute lessons. Yeah. I don't actually know if I'm playing that song because I think I am. Because they give me a whole 2 hours of like,
stop it.
And you have to breathe. You can't breathe full into the nozzle. You have to like put your mouth like this and be like, it really is quite attractive. And I think I played that song. I think that's me.
That was
made
incredible.
It better by like adding to it. But
that detail of your character sitting there playing your flute, perfect.
Anyway, so I would like to play some of the music for the school play. Oh yeah.
Oh, and that she's inspired by his choice, which I guess it's a very macabre choice.
Yeah.
And she says exactly, she's fascinated by the nature of evil.
That's kind of an obvious line. Sometimes I feel like my character's so obvious. It's like, we get it. You're a blind psychopath. Like, we get it.
No, we got that.
We got it. And like, I feel like she could have said something less about the fact that she's evil because we all think she's evil anyway.
Right.
She could have been like, good choice. I like playing my flute. I've been playing since I was 5. And then she just like says a whole monologue about like,
the little
I
flute.
grew up in the sticks of
I thought
Alabama.
my flute was a stick at first.
First time I ever had relations with a man.
Was my flute.
Like she should have like gone on to say something, but no, sorry.
But no.
But
She
no.
just stops.
She just stopped. She has like one line.
All right. Well, we have like Spencer now. She has a dream that there's a baby downstairs. Mm-hmm. But it's all a dream, and somebody comes to get her.
Oh no, this is the episode I say sucks, doesn't it? Sucks, doesn't it? Feeling like your second choice. Here's the thing, because I didn't have a lot of lines in these first season, I like no joke would be in my trailer going, sucks, doesn't it? Sucks, doesn't it? Sucks, doesn't it? Sucks, doesn't
No.
it? I would go over it so many times. Feeling like your second choice, feeling like your second choice, feeling like your second choice, feeling like your I would go over because I had nothing to do. I was like, which rendition is going to come out on the day?
That was so good. That was... I love it.
Yep. That was me.
So basically, she runs into Ian again, and he's like, look, between Allie and me, get lost could describe our relationship. She was just this, like, she wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yep.
She was basically a little hoe.
Yep. Oh, Hannah ends up in the shower with Kayla. That was like
easily one of my favorite scenes of the series so far.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
Although I do still wish, and I know we didn't have enough time, that the sexual tension had a little more lead up. I mean, isn't this the second episode? I
completely agree.
Like, are we in the second episode with him? Or like the third? It's like second or third.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you're
so
right.
Just
you're
like
right.
a
You're
little
right.
bit
Fast
more
again.
of the, oh my gosh, he brushed my hand. Or, oh my God. Like, it went straight from meeting him. He's now staying at her place. That happened so fast. And now he's naked in the shower with her. Which I loved, but I just think it was just, we didn't have a good payoff. Like it happened too fast.
Yeah, I agree. The move-in storyline was really cute, I thought. And I could see her wanting to do that. I thought that was justified because he helped with Ella's car.
Yeah.
I just really like how both of those relationships, they kind of start in this really sweet place, but you're right, it is a little bit too fast.
Because don't they sleep together in the next episode? There's like literally 3 episodes between meeting and sleeping together. Which I know maybe as you get older, but at that age.
No, I mean, I think it's more likely at that age.
Oh, you think so?
You know what I mean? Not.
But it's her virginity, remember?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. But she wants to get rid of it. And as somebody who wanted to get rid of mine, I had a time and place that I wanted to be rid of it.
Why did you want to get rid of it?
Because everybody else was.
Is that why?
Yeah.
I wanted to hold on to it.
Damn.
I did. I lost my virginity. He's crazy. I lost my virginity. He was 30. I think I've said this. And I was 17. But you're legal at 16 in Australia, so it was fine.
Damn.
But I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that was not cool.
Did you feel groomed by him at all?
No. I think it's funny because what I'm missing in the Ezra character, I felt like my boyfriend at the time had, which was the understanding that, oh my goodness, I'm falling for you, but like I'm way older than you. I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know how I feel about it. He would vocalize that to me all the time. He'd be like, I really am into you. It was also like, remember, we were child actors. I was always around older men.
I know. And,
no one
and
my
you grow
age.
up so quickly. Like, I remember when we interviewed Sasha, I mean, she was saying, I've been on set since I was this small. I mean, even I thought that girl feels older than all of us. Like, she just feels so like together and this and that. And it's because she said she's been on sets and she could talk.
Yeah.
Like, because her parents were there and she was there with them for her
I'd already been
parents,
on a
too.
TV show for like 4 years. And so it was just very normal. He was in his 20s. He was like 29, turning 30. So like he was still in his 20s. And a guy in their 20s is way younger. But I felt like I wanted to hold on to that. Like I was very nervous to lose my virginity. Yeah. I did a lot of dry humping though.
Nice. Nice.
That's how I got through my teens.
I literally was like, this has to be over. Like, it just has to like happen.
So was it not good?
No, I really loved my first time. I really loved the person that it was with.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank God that those were the settings for it, because I'm not sure I would have attracted that to me any other time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how old were you?
Things. 18.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
That's late.
Yeah.
And so she's 16, which I think is early. And I think, is she the first, they haven't said it in the show, but she's the first to lose her V
I
card?
feel like, yeah. I mean, unless that swaying with Maya in all that candlelight was her and M.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's the only one of the girls that is getting busy.
Okay. So they're in the shower together. You know who I think is really fun to watch, who I didn't have that much interaction with, is Janelle, who plays Mona. Like, that's a very stylized character that she saw out the entire Pretty Little Liars. Like, she stuck to that note of who that character was.
Yeah.
And she's not like that in real life. Like, she's not this airy sort of airhead. No, I'm not saying Mona's an airhead, but that bubbly.
That very like.
Oh my God. She's not like that. There's a gravitas towards her and a stability towards her that is not Mona.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize how broad her character kind of is. You know? I think she's very real, and I think all of these things, but you're right. Like, that is very stylized the way she comes in. But what about dad? Da 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 da. And you have to hit the right temperature on that. And I know that she's in it a lot from here on out, because she wasn't really.
I don't feel like yet I care about her.
Right. I don't care about her yet, but she's entertaining.
Yeah, she's definitely entertaining to watch, and I like how she plays the character.
What about Arya asking Ezra to be stage manager?
Oh yeah.
Because she says, look, I know da-da-da-da-da, but my girls were saying, like, you know, it would be nice if we could just hang out. Don't you think if I was your stage manager, we could hang out all the time? And he goes, I want to say no to this because this is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But he, like, gives in. She slips up in the first rehearsal and calls him Ezra and not Mr. Fitz.
That's right.
That was
But do
glaring.
you think if you were someone watching that and you were actually a real person in that scene, like not as an actor, but like this was real life, do you think you would have even picked up on that?
Yes.
You would have?
It was super strict at my school.
Yeah, so like,
I went to
like,
Catholic
hey, James.
schools. Yeah, there was no, like, you know those, I don't know if you've ever seen those TikTok compilations of the kids who go around and call their teachers by their first names.
Oh.
It's a huge deal, especially at the schools I went to.
Same.
They were Catholic
no
and this and
way.
that. Yeah, and so that was like glaring to me. Like, that was the biggest that I had on the show so far, because I was like, oh my God, Harry's gonna know.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I think she's now towing the line. I think she's playing with fire. I think that she knows she is, but that's kind of what happens when you're into someone you don't care. Like, Sean and I met on a set. He was my director, and we kept it under wraps the whole time. But I mean, we found out later that we were sloppy about it, you know, because people knew.
Right.
And we did not think anyone knew.
Right.
So you do, like, when you're so into someone, you and we see in the later episodes, she accidentally texts her mom instead of Ezra, so she's getting a little sloppy about it.
Right.
I think because she just wants him so badly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. I thought that was good.
Let me see the showering. Okay, so now we have that big flashback sequence that we go back to a few times.
With the party.
Which is the frat party.
Mm-hmm.
So our first flashback is Allie passing out fake IDs to the girls at the frat party, which is literally directly next to the bouncer. She turns around and then she's like, here, you guys. And like gives it to the guy who's obviously already
And the guy's like, oh, but.
No, the guy's catatonic facing forward.
Yeah. Can't say any lines because I don't think people know this. If you say a line, you have to get paid.
Right.
So if you're an extra on set, you cannot speak.
But it's under like 5 words, right?
Is it? You can say 5 words
5
and get
words,
paid.
yes.
Okay.
And
But
not get paid.
More than 5.
5.
I mean, you get paid, but you just don't get paid more.
Right.
Right.
So the girls see Ian go up the stairs with a random.
Yeah.
Allie says says she's there to make some memories. They should divide and conquer and meet back at midnight. Mm-hmm. So we go through, let's just finish off that flashback. So then they flash back and the random that Ian was walking up the stairs with is sprawled out at the bottom of the stairs.
Right.
Ian looks down from the top. The girls think that Ian pushed her. Then the last flashback is loading the random girl into an ambulance. Ian is questioned by police. Allie rejoins the group. The girls are freaking out about getting caught. But instead of running away, Allie walks up to a cop and asks for a ride home. She said the bolder the move, the less anyone questions it.
Yeah. I like that.
I loved that line.
I like that. Why is Ian at frat parties?
What is that?
And why did no one say back then, why is Ian at frat parties?
All they said was, you should have told Melissa that night.
Right.
Right? Or something like that.
But the first thing I would have done if I was there is I was like, why is this guy who's so much older here? And no one saw anyone push the girl down the stairs. There was like so many people there.
Yeah.
Did the girl die?
I don't think so. No. I think she was just being loaded up in the ambulance and that she was okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had her sprawled at the bottom there, like...
like her legs, like, splayed out.
Yeah. She was...
Imagine that was your, like,
role
job for the day.
Like that girl just got carted around. Yeah.
You're an extra, and the first scene, you're going to be sprawled on the floor.
Yep. So
And
can you get down right here?
And you're like, can I say more than 5 words and get paid more? Like, no.
Nope.
There's always these red herrings, right? And then, because Ian was never A.
Right.
So then do we find out in later episodes why all the drama? Like why was he even in that video with Allie?
I don't know. That I think
Just
we'll
never
find
wrap
out.
it up?
I
don't think we wrap it up.
Are you serious?
I don't think so. I'm so far into it. I don't think we've wrapped up, well, at least not for a while, why he was even in that video. Do you find that there's certain plot points that we don't wrap up? Or you think that everything is, they do a pretty good job of like explaining it?
I think so far they have. I think that so far they have. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really weird because he's see, this is what happens on things like this. You come in and you're such a pivotal part of the story for like 4, 5, 6 episodes. And then, you know, like some loophole makes you not the person after all of the red flags. It's like, oh, there's a beige flag. It's not him.
Yeah. You're like, oh, she's got blood of Allison all over her body. Oh, it's a deer blood. It's a deer.
Okay, what was with that whole trophy thing?
Oh, I know. It was like the trophy that was supposed to be where Allison was or something, and it had her blood on it, but then apparently it was deer
rat's blood?
A rat. And who bleeds like, what rat bleeds? Have you seen a bleeding rat?
Well, I'm sure they cut it open.
Who?
The A.
He cut the rat open?
Yeah. Or beat it to death with the trophy to make them think.
We are so lost.
to make them think that
it was Allison's
that a rat
blood.
killed her.
That a big old freaking
A rat killed her. It was the size of a hatchback.
It was like season 1, we're done. We're done. We've wrapped up the show.
But it could be like a Black Mirror where you come back. Each episode is a new plot point.
It's a new show with different characters.
Pretty Little Liars was one long episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. A rat killed her. That is the best. That is the best wrap up of the show.
I mean,
it just
come on, dude. That would have hit. That still would have been talked about. Like,
we would have hit. We would have been in the memorabilia, like the Hall of Fame, if a rat killed her.
Oh my gosh, that would have been incredible. But no, I guess A just killed the rat with a trophy to make the girls look guilty of bringing in a trophy.
Okay,
with
you're
rat's
right.
blood.
So you're saying it was done on purpose.
And then the trophy's not even real.
I know.
Like you made the what?
I know. There are some things where I thought you're pulling at strings because at some point you just don't have, like, how many
legitimate leads can you have that can lead you into the next thing?
And that's probably why there was so many characters on the show, because once you hit a dead end, you have to go into something else.
Yeah.
I wonder what that writer's room was like.
I know.
Was there like a big old board with plot points and, you know, this person goes to this person? And
I mean, I feel like they've got a plot, you know, I'm sure that like while the first writer is doing this, the writers know that they're on deck, and so they're all just sort of building up, you know, and I'm sure they plot it all out where they want to go.
And who do you think came up with the rat?
Marlene.
Because she wrote some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wrote the pilot.
Yeah, or directed. No, she didn't start directing until later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the pilot. Yeah.
But all I was thinking about in those scenes with the frat party is night shoots.
Oh. And the Fraturday that everybody was complaining about. Fraturday, aka Friday into Saturday. You get home at about 4 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah, because what they don't want to do is they don't want to start later in the day on the first day, because these episodes are shot over 9 days.
Yep.
So Monday to Friday, you'll normally shoot like 5 a.m. till about 7, 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're just in a few scenes, you leave. But then on Friday, because they can have you longer, because they don't have to have you come in at a certain time, because you get a 12-hour turnaround. So if you're done at 7, you can only come back at 7. So we finish the shows normally at 4 a.m. because you didn't have to worry about the next day.
Right. There was no turnaround.
I find those night scenes hard because I don't do well at night. You're great at night.
Oh my gosh. I was over there like, ba-da-da-da-da-da. You know what? I would have gone anywhere fast from once I came, whether it be night, day, this, that, other. But no, there's definitely a part of me that comes alive at night.
Yeah.
It's the killer in me.
Would you ever kill someone?
If I had to. If it was me or them.
Self-defense.
If it was me or them. Oh, yeah. Or you best believe you're coming with me, buddy. Scratch. You're going to have to take this hand if you want that DNA to go away.
I would be scared.
I would make sure that motherfucker got his comeuppance after he took me, if that's what needed to be
And you just
done.
have a little rat on your shoulder. Being
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
just like, sick him.
Yeah.
I think you would.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think anyone
would you? I mean, I'm sure that feeling's got to be even more intense as
oh my
a mama.
gosh. If someone hurt my kid, that I wouldn't even think about it. It wouldn't even be, it would just be,
Reflex.
You know what's so wild is, you spend most of your life trying not to get hit by a car, or get hurt. And there's this crazy instinct that happens. Like if there's a car going too fast and your kid starts to walk across the road, you literally fling yourself first. Anytime I feel like my kid's in danger, I throw my body into where the danger is, which is so the antithesis of what you would think is human behavior. You want to get like, if a train's coming, right? You're like, get out of the way. But if your kid could be in danger near the train, you're like, run towards danger to save them. It's so wild. And I said, my husband, I'd be like, do I have to? Like, I love you, but
Look,
like,
I appreciate
dude,
you.
like, watch for the car. But your kids, it's this weird instinct that you just throw yourself.
That's insane.
Yeah.
To be
Protection at all costs.
to override your survival brain that hard. That's crazy.
Just like
I can't imagine.
Protect this thing.
Wow.
You have to. So yeah, I would definitely kill for my kids.
That brings me to where are Allie's parents?
Wait, do we ever see them?
Have they ever been
No.
mentioned? Not
Jason
yet?
is her brother.
Well, yeah, but like
That's it.
that's weird.
It is so weird. And like, we kind of need to see them to understand her.
Mm-hmm.
And to know why she
Why
does
was
the things.
she introduced so late? Because Allie's mom comes on, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Why
like,
did that-
as
why
these
was that so
episodes,
late?
we need to go, oh, Allison is the way that she is because of how she was.
Right.
And what
They
it-
really don't stock up a lot of empathy for Allison, like at all. She really is a driving plot point to
Yeah.
where everybody can kind of like project their emotions onto her. Like
I think you have to in the beginning because she's killed. So if you
Right.
really care about her, you have this feeling of like, you have to think that sometimes, like certain times you go, oh, she deserved it. No, she didn't deserve it. Oh, she deserved it. You kind of have to have that argument within yourself, I think, to like continue watching the show and be like, oh, maybe she did deserve it. Maybe she did put herself in this position. Oh no, she was a victim. Oh no, she wasn't a victim. Because if you don't have those running thoughts, like what, it kind of connects you to the next
yeah.
plot point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think so. What else is on this episode?
Well, let's see.
Oh yeah, when Hannah kisses Caleb, there's this really cool camera move. They kiss for the first
so
time.
sweet.
I love
the
that
360
camera move.
is
The
so
360,
perfect.
which is normally like a steady cam, right?
Yeah.
So steady is when someone has a camera on their body and they just move their body around whatever's happening.
Yep.
If you're doing a 360.
So basically somebody's tap dancing all around you. It's like, cha cha cha.
And normally it's like you have to have your line on camera. So you have to wait till the camera hits your face and you're
Yep.
like, blah, 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 and then you have to say it so fast before it moves around you.
Big Bird's here. So Emily asks Spencer if she can drop off a book or his French book or something that Spencer was going to drop off. She asked if she can do it. She hasn't talked to Toby since he was sort of arrested. And she wants to talk to him. She drops off his French book and he says that Jenna turned him in to keep him close. Not Emily. Em asks him
That's
to
right.
breakfast as a friend.
That's right.
I thought it was really freaking cute when she's like, hey, I just like, you want to go to breakfast? And he's like, what about Maya? And she's like, as friends. You douche. Like, can you just get breakfast with me?
Yeah, like, what about Maya?
He just starts unbuttoning his pants. No.
That's not what I meant. No, I think Jenna turns him in. So I think that he then is afraid of her because of her.
Because she has no boundaries. Like
Yeah.
she's willing to do anything.
Yeah. And she is chaotic internally. And she will do anything to keep him close. Because I think for her, remember, she can't see. Remember, just in case you've forgotten.
But she can see again. This is before she can see again. Remember?
Don't talk about that part. She does get her sight back, but we don't talk about that.
Spoiler! Shut this shit down!
Turn it off! So if I think about the vulnerability of that, and that's how I tried to play it, it's like I can have this defense and be aggressive and rude in certain situations, but at the end of the day, I'm really scared. Imagine, there's one thing to be born without sight. There's another thing to lose your sight. That is so scary.
Yeah.
And so, of course, she needs him close. She's the only thing that she feels like she kind of it's familial.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That is like major trauma. And I don't know because I haven't watched it, but like, does that get further addressed down the line, or is this all we ever hear about your accident?
I never talk about being scared that I can't see. Although I have this moment in the potter where I actually got to like do something with Aria in the pottery room, and I got to like really break down, and I'd talk about like these things that I could see, and it was so beautiful. And I think in that moment you go, ooh, she's suffering a lot, which you would automatically think, but she doesn't show that. So you kind of...
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of those like audience members. If I'm like this in real life, if you don't show me your humanity, I'm not going to assume it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like probably one of my worst character defects. It's like, I want to see you bleed and then I'll be nice to you. But it's like, it's not that with every person, but if you're asking me to buy something that I just don't buy off of you, I need to see like your humanity.
And I find it hard to get close to people. I have a friend who I'm not really that friends with anymore, but we spent a lot of time together. And I spent so much time with her and I still didn't really know who she was. And I was like, this is just not worth my time anymore. Like what is, some people are really afraid to be vulnerable, and I get it, but I think vulnerability is such a superpower that if you knew how to tap into it, not as like I'm using this as a weapon, but I'm tapping into this because this is what real connection is being vulnerable is real connection. You don't have to cry, you don't have to, but you just be honest about who you are and what you're struggling with and the remorse that you have of things that you've done. Then yeah, I agree. Like, when I feel closest to my husband is when he talks about the stuff that keeps him up at night.
Yeah.
But it is vulnerability. Brene Brown, if you haven't read her stuff, oh my God, she did a whole TED talk about vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, I just want to see your humanity. Like that's it. If you're asking me to buy into something about you, like this cool thing, or if we're trying to be friends, I can't just attach to this stylistic side of you. Like I can't do it. I have to see some kind of substance for me to be able to sort of like, I don't know, even interact with you sort of at all. Like I just don't even find myself in conversations with people that don't at least go a layer deper.
Right. Some people just don't know how.
Yeah. And then I judge them. So that's another bad thing about
then
me.
we say, fuck off.
Okay,
Hannah.
Anyway.
The murder weapon isn't real. It's rat's blood. We addressed that. It was the rat that killed her. And no competition in Hilton Head that day. It was a planted trophy.
Yep.
Don't you think, and I know we've addressed this before, but don't you think you'd be over A? At some point I'd be like, fucking hell, man. Like I would just be so over it. Yeah. I would just be like, this is dumb.
But this is why I think it would have been good to have Rosewood in on the whole thing.
But you would have to wait till 7 seasons to know that. Right.
But the whole thing was like this incubator. It could make sense that all these stimuli would make you do all of these different things. But I also think like it's the stage there and the frontal lobes aren't fully formed. Everything that they care about is on the line. And when you're that age, anything in your life at that point is your life. Like nothing can be messed. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have a gauge that things get replaced or new or this. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah. And so that is the biggest thing.
And autonomy.
Plus, if your best friend, which was also a trauma bond with all those girls, Allie trauma bonded with all of them, and your ringleader just up and disappeared, and then somebody is directly contacting you, like, I don't know. I
just feel
can
like if
see
it was happening to me at 16, I'd probably have a nervous breakdown by now, and I would have been like, I have to leave.
Yeah.
I can't be friends with these girls. I can't because it's like Scream. Imagine Scream with the mask. I was like, I would feel like that person was going to murder me every day.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able. I don't think I'd be able to handle it if it was real.
Right. I would be the one who just like be trying to like people
fuck.
please and be like, I know. Here's my 2 cents. You know? Then I love this scene that Byron wants to have a drink with Ezra.
Yeah.
And that Arya wants that to happen, so they do.
Mm-hmm.
And Byron tells Ezra that Arya thinks that he's hot stuff and that his writing is good.
Yeah.
And he says he's brave for exposing himself to his students like that.
Right.
Which was, I get the double entendre line, but like his writing,
right?
Like being so vulnerable in his writing, like exposing himself to his students, obviously. And then Byron tells Ezra not to be scared, not to bet on his own talent. Oh, don't be scared to bet on your own talent. He says he loves teaching. Byron says more life moves really fast. And he drops that Arya is looking at colleges in California and tells Ezra if he taught at a college level, he'd have more time to write.
Yeah.
Which hits Ezra like a ton of bricks because obviously the love of his life, Arya, has to go to college.
Fuck. And like his first thought wasn't, well, I'll just go there too.
A place, she goes, she even
it's your
says
favorite place.
Yeah, she goes to a place that you love. Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I guess I don't know my future.
And then Spencer asks Toby to steal Jenna's phone to help them unlock this 214 mystery. And your connection to Ian. Sorry, that was a weird piece of lip skin. And so Toby steals it. Mm-hmm. Spencer gives Caleb. Caleb says that this phone is so futuristic.
I look at the phone. I'm like,
he can't hack
open it.
Can't hack it. He can cause a car to shut down and just not be there at all.
But you can't hack her phone.
But you can't hack. The way he talks about this phone, it's as if it was dropped here by a meteor. Like, whoa, what is this phone from 2020?
What is this, an
Remember
iPhone?
He said that? He goes, what is this phone from 2020? Babe, it was well before 2020 when that reference was made. It was like 2013. He goes, what was that, made in 2020?
Isn't that wild that we've now, 2020 was
4 years ago.
Isn't that crazy that was the future? That he was saying in 2013, is this made in 2020? And it was so far away.
That's creepy.
We're just on a rock floating in the middle of nowhere. My daughter the other day, you know that epiphany that you have when you're just like, wait, how the fuck was the world made? I don't know what age you were. She's 10 and she's like, all of a sudden she just stops in the car and she goes, wait, we're on a floating ball in the middle of nothingness? And I was like, mm-hmm. And she goes, how far does it go? I go, we don't know. She's like, well, how does it just stay? And I'm like, gravity. She's like, well, what is gravity? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, how do you not know? I'm like, no one knows. And she just had this huge realization of like, we are fucked. Like, what? And like, I don't think we think about that enough, that we're just like, what?
Yeah, like, what? Can we restructure our priorities here? Because
she's like, wait, so I was nothing 13 years ago. And I was like, mm-hmm. She's like, so you knew a world without me in it.
You were born with your daughter in your body.
I know.
That is weird.
Yeah, one of my eggs. And why her?
And on that note, let's see how Joseph Scott Morgan's eggs are. Joseph, how are your eggs?
Joseph Scott Morgan.
Joe Scott.
Joe Scott. How do you feel about being in a ball in the middle of nothingness, which is called the world?
Hey, yeah. Well, there you go. You know, it's an existence day to day. You just make the most of it, and of course you roll with the punches, and that's what I do.
Exactly.
I have a quick question, Joe Scott, before we get into things. Have you heard about this theory that when a woman has a baby, if she has a daughter, she has her daughter's eggs inside of her when she has the baby? Like her.
Did you know that?
Yes. Yeah. And it makes sense. Females are born with a finite amount of eggs. So I guess technically that's the truth.
And then, so it's not the same for a man because there's an infinite amount of sperm.
Yeah. Well,
you have all the hey. He goes, I've never found
let's don't get into a motility discussion as we get older. We won't go down that road, but
they might not be swimming.
I'm just thinking of just reproduction. Anyway, that's not what this show's about.
It's called the badass seed, and this is where we find the blood, the rat's blood, on the trophy.
Yeah, the fake trophy. And isn't that fascinating? We in cases that we work in forensics, when you have I like to frame them as intimately violent cases. And most of the time, if you have something that has utility to it, that's within your grasp, if you will, somebody flies into a fit of rage. Maybe they haven't thought things out. It's not uncommon for something. I mean, just think about it. Everybody that's listening to us right now, if you've ever participated in a sport, or maybe you've been in a drama club or something and you've won a trophy, they're all over the place. People have these things. They're within arm's reach. And it's not beyond the possibility that someone could use a trophy in order to facilitate something like this, to facilitate an attack, for instance. Mm-hmm. But the trick is, if there are injuries on an individual, and this is kind of fascinating, if there's an injury on an individual, let's say to the forehead, would that particular instrument that the detective or the investigator finds, can you marry that up to the injury that they've sustained, say, on the head? Because if you're thinking about like the base of a trophy, where you've got that long leading edge and it's kind of sharp, that could actually fool somebody into thinking that this is an edged weapon, even though it's actually blunt force. And you have to look for these specific characteristics. And then, of course, one of the things that we look for are these tiebacks forensically or biologically when you think about blood deposition on something.
Wow.
And how would you know straight away? Like, it's like they figured out that it was rat's blood, right? How close to rat's blood is human blood? Like, in the way it looks. I mean, I don't know if you've seen rat's blood.
No, it's a very legitimate question. I'm glad that you asked that, because most people don't think to ask that of us. But I can break it down for you. There's a couple of tests that we actually do. You don't have to go to the lab for it. That's what's kind of cool about it. We can actually do this at the scene. And there's like multi-steps with it. So let's just say that you find a dried sample. It could be wet, but you find a dried sample of blood. Now, depending upon how dried it is, it can become degraded after a period of time. But if you find a deposition of blood, you cannot, first off, we can't even say, and you're on really thin ice if you look at something and say, that is blood. Did you know I've actually worked cases where I have seen melted chocolate at a scene and I thought that it was blood? Wow. You can't eyeball something and just simply say that it is blood. So you have to broadly classify it. The question would be, is it blood? And we can do a test at the scene that will either rule it in or rule it out. Then the next step you go to is, well, is this blood human, or is it from some animal? Because, look, an animal can actually be involved in a case. I've worked in a number of cases where someone has come in, and as horrible as this is, they've actually killed every pet in the house, for instance. And you'll have blood that is commingled, which is mixed together with the humans that are there. So you have to try to distinguish between those two. So it diverges, and immediately we can determine if it is, in fact, animal blood. But if it's human blood, the next question you would ask is, well, what type of blood is it? And most people out there, it's amazing, most people don't know their blood type. And for years and years, we didn't have DNA. We only had blood typing. You know, you think about the A group, the B group, the AB group, the O group, and then you go positive and negative. And the rarest blood type is actually AB neg. And so you go based upon that. And then if you have a sample that's big enough, this is where you get to the point that everybody's looking for. You can actually do a DNA sample. And blood is the richest source of DNA material. And of course, now, you know, they're doing so many amazing things with DNA that the world that I entered into as a forensic scientist all those years ago is not the same world that my students are entering into from university when they graduate. They're going to see things that I could not have even envisioned in literally in 10 years that they will have utility for at the scene that involves blood evidence.
Do you feel like you have been asked by a student a question that sort of expanded your knowledge of what you already knew, just based on the fact that, you know, the younger generation does have such an ability to, you know, open up new avenues for these things? You know what I mean? Just the theory of evolution and how things change with each other. Like, do you get feedback from your students? Is that like a symbiotic
Yeah, it can be. And it's tough. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a race. Let's say if I taught philosophy, there's not much of a race there necessarily.
Right.
You know, if I've got students that are coming to me with things, and I know that I'll get blowback on that, and it doesn't matter. But
we know what
science changes at such a rapid rate. And if you have students that are actually vested in forensic science, even at a high school level now, there are forensic science classes that kids get involved in. So when they show up at university, their baseline knowledge is so much more advanced than, say, kids 20 years ago, because they're doing things that back then, 20 years ago, you'd only do at the crime lab or do in training when you were going to the crime lab.
Right.
And then you heap on top of that technological advances that have taken place. I'm blown away sometimes by the questions I've asked. And here's the one really important thing, is that unlike other disciplines in academia, I think, when students show up, they're bringing their life story with them. And I have kids that come from all over the world. I have kids that come from very violent backgrounds, and they may have borne witness to something in their childhood that involved a violent act, and they'll bring that into the classroom and say, you know what, in my family, we had someone that was attacked. I have kids that say, you know, I've got family members that were homicide victims, and I saw this happen. Why did they do that? Well, it's hard for me to explain what the police or investigators did at that particular time. But just like that little nuance, science is changing all the while as well. I have to run to keep up. And when I finally run out of breath, that's the day that I'll know it's time for me to hang it up, because sometimes the depth of science is overwhelming.
Man, Joe Scott, you're the best. You are just like this like eternal kernel of information, and it's just it's just so interesting.
And we love
I'm
you.
just happy
Thank you
guys
so
want to
much.
listen to me. So
No,
I'm pretty
yeah.
cool. I'm pretty cool with that.
Thank
I'm
you
all about
coming
it.
on this episode, and we can't wait to continue chatting on the next one.
You bet.
All right,
So good to
until
be with
next
you
week,
guys.
Joe Scott.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, you.
We gotta say,
See you next week.
see you later, bitches.
That means you too, Joe Scott.